Now it's 6 as recovery from former Typhoon Halong continues. The Department of Homeland Security is expediting $1 million in upfront FEMA funding.
It'll be used to help speed up temporary repairs to infrastructure, utilities, also boost staffing emergency operations. As of right now, the DHS says 147 FEMA staff members are helping out in both Bethel and Halong.
And this all comes as FEMA and the state have paired to open an Anchorage Disaster Assistance Center in the Chalista building on West Benson Boulevard. Victims of Halong are being urged to apply for individual disaster assistance as soon as they can. The new disaster center is a one-stop shop to sign up for FEMA, state, and Red Cross assistance programs all in one place.
The state and FEMA offer different benefits. For instance, the state will cover subsistence camps. FEMA does not cover subsistence camps. So we're encouraging folks to register for both programs to maximize their eligibility.
Disaster assistance is not something people will have to pay back. The deadline to apply for state programs is December 9th. The FEMA deadline is December 22nd.
Today marked the final day of shelter operations for Halong evacuees at the Egan Convention Center in Anchorage. So starting tomorrow, non-congregate shelter intake services will transition to Spenard Community Rec Center temporarily. That is on West 48th Avenue in Anchorage. Services will be available 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. daily. If you'd like more information, there is a phone number on your screen.
And tonight, our investigative team continues following a question Alaska Native villages are now facing after devastation from former Typhoon Halong. We are just days away from some residents returning home around the state's November 10th goal date. Some say moving forward, they want to see their villages relocated to higher ground. Let's bring in our Johnson Q now to help us understand where things stand.
Yeah, Johnson, it's an emotional topic for many. I mean, these people's families, they've been there for generations, man.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a difficult discussion. We wanted to understand the context some village residents are having to consider. The state geologist told me for about 25 years now, these strong fall storms happen every year. And a UAF climate expert told me Halong is just an example of how they keep getting stronger, something he recommends village residents talk about as they consider the decision to relocate.
And Johnson, speaking of relocating, Quig residents have voted to move, but we do see how in your story a familiar theme pops up. There are expenses involved and, of course, the amount of time it would take to move as well.
That's correct. We see in the story how Bethel Senator Lyman Hoffman says this can take at least a decade. Just to rebuild the school is about $40 to $80 million. And then you have all the infrastructure that needs to be moved and rebuilt, like homes and runways. And this is just one example this is just one village's story, as so many are now thinking about long-term conditions after Halong.
Johnson Kuhn, thank you very much. Johnson reporting. You can watch his full story right now on our website, our mobile app, also tonight on The Late Edition. And our investigative team's coverage continues tomorrow with an in-depth look at how one village has moved. If you have a tip for the team, you can email us to investigates@ktuu.com.
Over the weekend, a deadly incident involving thin sea ice in Kotzebue claimed 2 lives.
Rick Tolman of the International Arctic Research Center explains how sea ice decline could have contributed and is having an impact on Alaskans, he says, especially in rural areas.
One of the most dramatic changes in the last 50 years with sea ice is the thickness of that ice. Prior to 2000, literally the majority of the ice in the Arctic had survived 2, 3, 4 or more summers. So this was old, thick ice. In the 25 years since then, nearly all of that old ice is gone.
Tolman also highlighted an alarming new rising trend in ex-Typhoon landfalls. He says there was only one landfall in Alaska between 1970 and 2021. Tolman says as time progresses, weather events are intensifying and Alaskans should be prepared.
Well, from typhoons and ice to snow, what you're looking at right here, views of the snow from Anchorage hillside today. It is that time of year. Very pretty, of course, but the snow's still just up there in the mountains.
Yes, very scenic out there. Our chief meteorologist, Melissa Fry, joining us now with your first alert forecast, tracking more chances of snow this week, and this time for lower elevations.
Yeah, we've been waiting for significant snow to show up in the lower elevations, and we do have at least one chance for more significant snow, at least than what we have seen so far this season. Now, one of those chances is going to be even as we head overnight tonight, just a chance for a little light snow pushing through. But that next chance on Thursday is a little bit more significant, more moisture pushing into the region. Waiting for temperatures still to drop below freezing tonight in Anchorage, holding close at 33. Plenty cold enough for snow and ice to stick around as it is doing in the interior at 11 degrees there in Fairbanks. We do have temperatures at that freezing mark, though. And now as you head out to the west side of town, Campbell Creek at 30 degrees, 31 now in Eagle River. So those temperatures are getting below that freezing mark, and they are going to stay below freezing overnight tonight into early tomorrow morning. Again, that moisture pushing in here from Prince William Sound. We are seeing some snow showers out in Girdwood, Alyeska right now. Also seeing some light snow showers in Palmer, Wasilla, pushing up into the Susitna Valley. And we will see chances for those light isolated showers in the Anchorage Bowl as well overnight tonight. So again, don't be surprised if you see a quick dusting here tonight. Temperatures will fall to the mid-20s overnight tonight. So a cold start tomorrow morning. Some sunshine to start your Wednesday, but then once we get into Thursday, that's when we'll see those chances for snow showers moving into Anchorage and across South Central. Otherwise, just cloudy in Fairbanks tomorrow. 19 for your high temperature. Rain showers likely in Juneau at 45, and some light snow in Bethel at 21. I'll have a closer look at that full extended forecast and those snow chances here.
All right, Melissa, thank you. Check back in a little bit. It is election night in the Mat-Su borough, and it could have an effect on anyone pumping gas in the valley.
One hot topic this election cycle is centered around a gas tax proposal. Our Will Courtney has been in Palmer all day talking to voters.
Election day has ended here in the Mat-Su borough, but what was on the ballot is a proposal to increase taxes 7 cents a gallon here in the Mat-Su borough, and that's to, according to the ballot proposal, increase road maintenance here and offset property taxes. We talked to residents a little bit about what they thought, and the reaction was mixed.
No.
No?
Mostly because it's an advisory vote.
7 cents, that's really not that much.
Yeah.
You can find that in the couch cushions, man.
I think that it could be an important source of revenue for the Mat-Su borough. I do believe that they need to implement a sunset clause.
No good.
No good? Why's that?
Nope. Tax your oil companies, don't tax the people.
I'm incensed about it being on the ballot. It's a waste of resources. The borough has not done an inadequate job with the money they have now. Why would you ask in that situation for 7 more cents a gallon on the budget?
Now, there's still 2 hours to vote. Voting closes at 8, and we'll make sure we stay tuned to the election results tomorrow. Will Courtney, Alaska's news source.
Alaska State Troopers say the remains of another heliskier involved in a deadly avalanche in Girdwood earlier this year have been found. Troopers say the Alaska Mountain Rescue Group recovered those remains on Sunday, and the remains are believed to be either Jeremy Leaf or Charles Eppert, but that identity has not yet been made public at this time. Next of kin has been notified about the remains. Recovery crews found the remains of David Linder last month. The March 4th slide buried the 3 friends, and the search does continue for the 3rd victim.
Transitioning now as part of our celebration of America's 250th birthday next year, we're looking back at some of our history here in Alaska. Our Tracy Sinclair has more from the digital desk.
This week in Alaska history, we have some notable events that just kind of stuck out. One of them is aerial wolf hunting. A decision was made about this back in 1996 on November 5th. We talk a little bit about that. Also, it is election day for some people in the lower 48. Not a presidential year this year, but it was back in 1960, and it was the first time that Alaskans voted for president. Of course, we had just become a state the year before. And the fun item today, a turkey. Where it shouldn't be. Kind of have some information on how it got there and what's going on there. Probably not as much as some of us might like, and I'm a little bit curious to see if the turkey was making a break for it, because, you know, it is November. You can check all of this out. You want to go to our free streaming platforms on Amazon Fire, Apple TV, and Roku, and check out This Week in Alaska History.
Thanks for listening. Click subscribe so you can get the latest podcast from Alaska's news source automatically.
And stay up to date with breaking news and in-depth reporting available for free 24/7 with the Alaska's News Source app.